Hi guys, it's Picker10 and welcome to your 25th Roblox Lua scripting tutorial. Now, first of all, we're going to start with the scripting showcase. This is a model submitted by, what's his name, Funtycoon, and it is a raining script. Now, let's see what it does by entering the place. As you'll see here, it's raining very rapidly all over the place. How quickly there's rain spawning, but it's completely random. There's some spawning miles over there. There's some spawning here. I'm not sure if they ever get removed. Do they ever get removed? I'm not thinking they do. Nope. No, they never get removed. So, eventually we're going to end up with a place full with all of these bricks. That's going to fall everywhere. But it does work as a rain script, even though it's got these annoying plastic clattering noises. So, let's look at the script and see if we can give them extra tips on how to do this. So first of all, it's while it's wait. So that will just spawn every frame. So that might lag a bit online, but it shouldn't do too much. Now rain wait workspace.drop::clone, that's fine too. Rain parent games workspace. Yes, you could do all this stuff. Now this next line is slightly off. It works fine, but if you wanted to, or if the person had made their place on a big mountain or something, the rain would spawn underneath the mountain because you've only told it 100 high. Or what if you've made it outside -500, 500? You're going to have to edit that. Or you could have some kind of... You could easily make this a plugin, actually. You could make a rain script to plugin, and then have your person click on the place using get selection or something where you want the rain to start and where you want the rain to end. That would be quite a good plugin, actually. So you could easily have that, but well done to Funtycoon. He gets 200 Robux to the scripting showcase, and we've actually got another model for this one, which is by... It's called... Sort a head disappearing thing and it kills you. By, they usually put a comment on it. Oh no, this guy hasn't put a comment on it. It is actually by... Desruct. And Desruct has provided us with... disappear, that's horribly spelt wrong, hang on. I'm just gonna have to... Getting messages on Skype. The tools test. Play solo, and let's see what this does. Go away, Skype. Okay, now I'm removing your head, just to make sure all of your heads, so... Remove all of my hats. Is it this thing? My head doesn't seem to be getting removed. I'll just wait a bit. Oh yes, my head is getting removed now. It's slowly fading away them back into focus and fading away them back and fading away them back. And this Skype is really annoying me. Right. Okay, so let's look at what it actually does. It disappears the head. So, enable equals true. So it's got a good debounce in it. That's quite useful to use. So, first of all, whenever you touch the part, and I didn't actually touch the part, the base plate touched the part. That might be an issue. You should check to make sure it's actually a person that touches the part. That's one thing you definitely need to improve on there. M equals instant new message workspace. That's quite good. If there's debounce, you should put the debounce before that, otherwise you could just constantly step on it and tons of messages would be generated in the workspace without any text on, so you'd cause the place to start lagging without actually doing anything. So, I'm going to take off your head. It destroys the message, then removes the message. I'm not sure what that's about. You definitely don't need that. You don't need to destroy and remove it. Destroy is, by the way, the preferred method. Destroy is for the purposes of this level of scripting, the same as remove. It's not exactly the same, but it does a better stuff. And there's another one, clear all children, which removes all the children on the object. They're the two things you should be using now instead of remove. Oops. So, after it does that, he's set up two events for touch. Now, he doesn't need to do this. He can just put it all in one. Considering he could just put this all in one. They're both the same event. Why doesn't he just put it all in one? I don't know. He's waiting for... I don't know what he's trying to do there with setting up to it once, because all they'll do is just run at the same... He's made them run at the same time, but he's made this one wait for the total amount of that. That is a really, actually, poor way of doing it. You could just put them all in one. What's wrong with putting them all in one? And then he's used remove and destroy again. And then, no, he's used this, when it's another function. You could just put all these in the same one again. You could just put them all in the same event. You don't need to use a different one. And he's just made it wait 8 for all the different ones. Found.transparency equals .1, .2, .3. This guy, you need to pay attention. You need to go back to the for loop tutorial. I'll show you a much easier way of doing this. So as you can see, you can just go for. So hopefully lots of people would know this by now. For I equals 0, you want it to go up to 1, and you want it to increase each time by 0.1. Do found.transparency equals I wait 1. So then it would automatically do it without having to type all of that every single time. So that would do exactly the same thing as all of these lines. So, although it's scripted fairly poorly, but it's still actually quite good for someone of this level. There's a lot of things that scripters would scorn upon. Say if you go to the scripters forum and then say a clan person posting the scripters forum with their new ready-made gun and it's terribly scripted, and then everyone will complain. It's the same sort of thing as this. It's not very efficiently made, but it still works, and it still looks pretty cool, and it's still really good for a person of this level. So you should try and remember the for loops, and well done to you. Well done to you. You will receive the 200 Robux, don't worry. Both of you guys need to send me the link to the shirt with 200 Robux, and I'll buy your shirt so you can receive the full amount. Now we go on to the contest, and now the first person to answer successfully the contest. I did get a load of entries actually, even though I have a feeling this was a runner from last time. No one liked the contest on tutorial before, but then as soon as I put out the minigame tutorial, what a surprise! Everyone watches it, and now I have the contest entry by Robot. I'm going to zoom in here, like I forgot to do in the last one. The scripts add 1 eye test. Now, as you can see, what I did last time was, if I can show you do I have a script of the debug script? No. I'll just show you the script. Okay, so this is the original broken script. So now, obviously, I didn't have anything. But what's happened here is that I'm calling the function hi without any arguments. Now this needs an argument, so for I equals test, if I don't call it with any parameters here, then here there won't be any, this will test in the script will also be 0, as you should know from the arguments tutorial. So I would equal nil because it doesn't exist, and so for I equals nil 10. How do you add 1 to nil? You can't, so it's going to error. So what you just need to do is add a number between the brackets, and well done, Robot. You have received the 750 Robux. Send me a link with the shirt if you're Builders Club. If you're not Builders Club's too bad, but you still get featured. So well done. All of the models featured in the scripting showcase are available in the scripting showcase set, and will be published in the scripting showcase model. So you can feel free to take any of the models or visit the place just to check these out for yourself. Remember, the place would actually probably be that good, seeing as most of these scripts only won once on the first time. Well, it might lag because of that rain script as now, but it's all good. So now we're going to go on to the mini games tutorial. So what we can see here is we've got the choose mini games, we've got the get participants, but remember in future we're going to make this get participant function actually choose, because you might want people to say in all admins command, in all mini games is probably something where you can opt to spectate or something. So we're going to make in future we're going to make the get participants only return that. Teleport players we haven't actually made yet. Now run a mini game. You want to teleport all players to the correct locations of the actual mini game, and then check to see if the game is running. Function end minigame, we haven't done anything with that. We've got the basic structure here. So, what we need to do now is actually make some of these things work. Now, load minigame, as you can see what we've already done, it's basically just clones the minigame. It doesn't run any of the startup scripts or anything, but we can, because remember scripts don't run in lighting, so we can just make a minigame and add the scripts and then it should work. So we need to make some way, as you can see when it says run minigame here, we need to make some way for the minigames to actually work. So in this tutorial we're going to start making an actual mini game. It's going to be a very extremely basic mini game. What shall we do? We're going to have... What's a good idea for a mini game, do you think? Let's have... just sword fights. We're going to have everyone to sword... Nah, actually, that's quite complex, because you have to detect when people have died, actually. Let's have... Get to the end of the obstacle course. That's a fairly simple one. So we're going to make a... We can obviously extend the obstacle course later. So I'm going into here. This is the oops, what's happening here? But this is just the basic one. I'm going to make sure it's anchored, as someone pointed out in the comments. So the time is something that we need. It's just going to start at... How long is this round going to be? We're going to make it maximum of, say, 2 minutes. Winner. Now this is an object value. As soon as winner is going to be set, the mini game is going to end. So that's what we're going to need to check for in this script. So we're just going to basically to edit the mini game. We're going to have to put it in a workspace so I can actually use this stuff. So I'm going to select the base. Going to start here, and you have to get to here. Hooray, that's a very, very complex mini-game we have here. So obviously that's not going to be too amazingly awesome, but we're going to add the scripting here, so I can safely move it back into lighting now, so I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to make the script. So first of all, we're going to now here's come across a problem. Should we just allow the time to be set here, or do you want the time to be set in the script? I think we're just gonna set the time in the script to the for loop. Actually, no, I'm gonna use the while loop and just minus the time down like this. So what I'm gonna do is while true do wait. We're gonna wait a second, and then going to script.parent.time. And now what you have to remember, .value, the time is this object, value is a number. So many scripters forget that, and they come across with annoying errors that say time is not a valid member. And go, yes, it is. Equals. And it's going to make it -1, so it's going to equal the same as itself, -1. End this. Oops. So that's going to basically make the value go down. And as we can see in the main script, if we go back to this one, the run minigame checks whether this is there. So, do we need anything else in here? For now, we don't need anything else in this script, other than to actually make winner here equal the actual winner. So, what we're going to do here is going to make a touched event on the brick that we want people to win at. So, we haven't actually made a separate brick here, so I'm just going to insert. I've inserted a thing. Insert object part. So this is the brick you need to touch to win. Oops. And now we're going to anchor that. Put it in the model, name it 1, and now we can set up as an event for it. So function person1 person. So this is going to be the touched, remember. So what's going to happen when the person has 1 is we want the winner object and the winner value in here, the object value, to set its value to winner. So, but first we need to check if the person hasn't just rained a fireball from the ceiling and then won the game. Huzzah! Script.parent winner value equals person. Now that wouldn't work, for example, because the thing that person is here is actually the thing that the part that touched the brick. Things we're going to set up as a touched event. So the thing that touched the brick would actually just be a part, which we can't set the winner value to. We have to set it to. What do you want to set it to? We're going to set it to the actual player, not the character, the player. So first of all, we're going to need to check if it actually is a player, as I just said. So if well, what happens a lot if someone shoots it with a gun or something, and the gun's script removes the bullet before this function runs, is that if you try and say person.parent, or for example, like this, it will error. So what I have to do is, if not person.parent, or if person.parent equals nil, or something like that, then we're just going to end the function so it doesn't error the script. So if not person.parent, then return end. Return does end anything as it is. So if person parent find first child humanoid, then so that checks whether the humanoid is in the object. That basically checks if it's character, and now we need to check if there's a player. So local player equals. Do we actually need to do this step? No, I have a feeling we used to, because I got some errors, but we don't actually need to do it anymore. We can just skip straight to this. So local player, local variable, because we only want it to be in the function, equals. There's a function called getPlayerFromCharacter. Now this means, I'll explain this function to you. GetPlayerFromCharacter person dot parent. Now that line's probably a bit confusing. GetPlayerFromCharacter is a function which looks in players and sees if there's a player matching the character. So person.parent, say we walk into it and our leg touches it, the leg's parent will be our model, so the model would be the character. So that's our character. So person.parent is the character. So it's going to see if that character corresponds to an actual player, and if it does, it's going to return the player. So then player will be the actual player that touched it. If it doesn't correspond to a player, say if a zombie with a humanoid in it or something touched it, or just a part touched it, or if whatever's touched it is not actually a player, a physical player who's joined the game, then it will return nil. So what we need to do now is check if it's not nil. So obviously we can do if player doesn't equal nil. We can just do if player, because that's easier. If player, then. And now we're going to set the winner to player, and now we need to set up the actual event. So what is it? Script.parent dot, what do we name it? We named it 1 dot touched connect. Don't need to do that. Person 1. There we go. So now what this does is sets the winner value to the player object, and what we've got in here is we're going to need to check in the run minigame whether winner is actually a player. No, winner's actually a player? Yes, we're going to need to check if winner's there and then end the minigame if it does. So if winner dot value, then so we're going to need to make something just saying, hey, he's won the minigame, or something along those lines. So we might have to do an extra function for that later on, but for now we're just going to, actually we are going to make an extra function now. So we're going to completely randomly create a function anywhere, because I'm just completely unorganized like that. It's probably better to separate your script, separate the function into mini games related and general other stuff and other stuff. But function player 1 player. So we're going to make a function like this: local instance dot new message workspace m dot text equals player has 1. So player.name, and then you're going to use a string concatenation operator, has won the minigame, end. Now there's obviously going to be a lot more stuff in there later on. We probably need to add their score or something, but we haven't got that built in now, so we're going to do that later on. So if winner.value, then that person has won, so we're going to go, what name the function, player1 winner.value, because that's going to be the player. End this, but first of all, if we just ended it like this, what's going to happen? It's going to say the player won, but the minigame is going to keep on running. The minigame on there is going to stay someone's already won, and then another person's going to win because another person's just going to step on it or something. And this is every single time it checks this, it's going to say, oh look, player's won, because the value will never reset. So what we're actually going to need to do is end the loop, and to end the loop, we type break, like this, and then this loop will end, so the function will end, and then it'll go on to the next bit, which is end minigame. But obviously, because it's a while loop, it's going to run infinitely with no gaps in between. That's a very bad idea. We're going to check. Wait. We're going to wait 1 frame, because otherwise there could be a tie or something, which wouldn't be fair, and the second person who won would actually get the win there. So we don't want that. So then this is going to say who's won the minigame. Now, end minigame. Remember, M from this is actually the minigame, which is the model of the minigame. So we're just going to go we want to remove the minigame that's in the workspace. Now, the minigame that's in the workspace is the clone of M. We have no access to it at the moment, so we're going to need to fix that, because the only thing of the minigame we have in workspace is here, and it's a local variable, so we can't do anything with that. So what we're going to need to do here, we're going to make load minigame return something. So load minigame return M. So that's going to basically say, so now we're going to go local loaded equals so now loaded is actually the minigame that's in a workspace, rather than the minigame that's in lighting, which you don't want to change at all. We're just going to clone into workspace and use that one. So end minigame loaded. Run a minigame, we should probably use loaded as well, actually. Yes, we're definitely going to need to use that, otherwise this is just going to continually check the one that's in lighting and it's not changing at all. So we definitely need to change loaded. I can't believe I didn't notice that before, because otherwise, if we just used the one that was in lighting here, m.time.value would just be the one in lighting, which we've actually forgotten to put in lighting. Hang on. Paste into here. So lighting, this isn't going to change at all. Scripts don't run in lighting. We're going to clone this into workspace, and then you can actually see it and do stuff in it. But it's not going to work because we only put the one that was in lighting in there. So now we've changed it, so it's loaded. So the one that's loaded is in there. So it's going to end the minigame that's loaded. For now, just to end the minigame, we're going to loaded. Oh, not remove, destroy. So hopefully that will work. Hopefully that will work now. Let's just see what's going to happen with this. There's probably going to be a few errors, and I've typoed or something. Press play. Attempt to index global winner a nil value. So it automatically loaded the minigame. Now let's see where it's got the error. I said if winner.value. It doesn't know what winner is. We need to tell it. If the winner m.minigame m.winner.value. So that should have been pretty obvious to anyone who's watching this. Winner.value doesn't exist, so we're going to need to try and test this again. Press play here. Looks like it's working in order, but we can't actually tell because it's going to run infinitely until, as you can see, time in here is counting down. Not sure if you can see that, but it's counting down 106, 105, 104, and when it gets to 0, the loop's going to end, and it's going to. So I'm just going to speed it on its way a bit. Attempt to index global loaded a nil value. So that's once the minigame is ended. We're going to go into part 45 here, and I said loaded .destroy for whatever reason, I don't know. Loaded, we passed it as an argument, so loaded as m destroy. Play. I'm going to do exactly the same thing just to check if it's actually going to work. It's not going to display a winner. We're going to do that afterwards, but 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. what's going to happen, it's going to remove the minigame, and then the loop's going to run again, and it's going to choose the only minigame available. So we're obviously going to have some waiting time between that. And so the exact same thing. So that bit works at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is risk it by testing it in play solo, and hopefully the minigame will appear before I do, because I haven't added any sort of spawn or lobby. Yeah! I appeared on top of the minigame. That was quick. Let's see what's going to happen now. I'm going to step on this, and nothing's going to happen. That's good. Okay, so this is supposed to have a touch drone which displays the winner. Let's see if actually anything happens. So we're going to look in there. Winner hasn't changed, so obviously it doesn't know that I've touched it, because that's still counting down and everything. So 1 is this part, right? Okay, so we're going to need to make sure that touched event actually works. So we're going to go into main. No, we're not going to go in there. We're going to go into the minigame script and then see the touch. Script.parent1 can actually connect person 1. If not person, not parent, then return game. That's why, because game.players, it's players, so we definitely need that. It's game.players, not game.player. That was a typo there. So I'm going to hope it works again. So let's load this up and see. Yep, I appear on top of the loaded one. The minigame's running and everything. And now I'm going to step on here, and again nothing's going to happen. So let's see where we've gone wrong this time. Winner doesn't work, so it still hasn't detected I've actually touched it. So let's just edit the script in game, because if I cut and paste it, it will start running again. So I'm going to just see if it actually detects when I've won it. So print the part has been touched. Because this will set up the event. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Paste it again. Okay, so for some reason it doesn't even detect when it's been touched. Now that's a bit strange, because as far as I'm concerned, I am touching this part. Is anything going to work here? Everything should be working. I'm not sure exactly why it's not detecting me as being touched it. Let's go into a different method of using this. Go into touch event doesn't seem to be working in that. I have no idea why. Let's go start player. Don't care if you've blocked the Roblox. It's not even online. Think it detects it as touched then? Okay, so that's slightly annoying. That this doesn't. I probably typed something wrong, but I'm not going to accept that as. So, I'm going to speed up the video until I've found out what's wrong with this. I probably just typed something wrong somewhere. Really dumb mistake, and I can't believe I didn't even notice this one as well. I must be really tired today or something. I've done this several times. The while loop goes on forever, never reaches this function, never reaches this event. It doesn't know that the event's actually set up. We need to make this before the while true do loop. So now I'm going to test it in solo again, so that Windows Firewall doesn't come and kill everything. Ooh. Attempt to index load a winner and nil value on line 37. So I've probably done something wrong here again with exactly the same thing as before and forgot to change it. So 37 is winner.value again, obviously. M.winner.value. Doesn't know what winner is. Winner is inside M. Knows what M is. Going to player has won the minigame infinite times because I forgot to make it stop every time I stand on it. And I also forgot to remove the message. So, as you can see, the game is working. It's been a very long tutorial, so I'm not going to go on any further. We're going to fix those minor issues next game. Player has won the minigame. So, thank you for watching. There's not going to be any contest for next time. That was a fairly good round. 200 Robux for each of the people. Send me a link to the shirt. Contest person, Rubot, send me the link to the also a shirt for 750 Robux because you won the contest. Congratulations. There may not be some. I'm going to spend a lot of time editing the Blade Master Elites videos, commentating on those as well, so I'm going to be away for a slight bit. Sorry I didn't make a video last time, was because I was ill over the weekend and actually was on a scout hike the other time, so don't worry, I'll be back as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, view, whatever, favourite. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.